So today I'll be showing you how to make this Shuriken spinner. Let me show you a closer look of it. As you can see, it's like they have arrowheads on it. It looks really cool. It doesn't spin too well just because I got some glue in the bearing. That was the only problem. So that's what, if you replace it with a better bearing, it's going to spin wonderfully. Because these are pretty heavy, that's why it's abruptly stopping. If you do remember last time, I created this arrowhead out of paper. So that's what the concept for this one is, except I'm using 3 to make it look like a bearing, look like a shuriken. So let's get right into it. As usual, I'll be starting off by telling you all the materials we'll be needing for this. To start off, I have 3 sheets of cardstock. We're going to be turning it into hardened paper as usual. Here's a craft knife, just to cut out everything. Elmer's glue is what we're going to be using to actually harden it. Some super glue is useful, but it's not completely necessary. And that's pretty much it. And let's, of course, the bearing. I know last time I created one without the bearing, but to be more efficient, I'm going to be making this one with a bearing. Since you guys already know how to make it without the bearing since my last video. So let's go right into how to create this hardened paper. Alright, so to start off, I have a folded up piece of paper just to spread the glue. I know I go over how to create hardened paper every video, and the only reason I do that is because there's so many new people coming to the channel. I just want to make sure that everyone knows how to do it. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to fold it in half. This is 1 sheet of hardened paper, 1 sheet of cardstock. I'm going to fold it in half as best as I can. Okay, that's pretty good. Alright, so now that we have it folded in half, I'm going to open it up and have one side flat on the ground, on the table, sorry. And I'm going to open up my glue. I'm just going to spread some glue all over it. Right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our folded up piece of paper and just spread everything across. Make sure that you don't leave out any corner. This is a very important part, just because you could cause air bubbles to form, and you don't want that because it'll just make your build horrible, or maybe make you have to create the hardened paper again. So I think I've covered basically everything. Don't be afraid to get some glue on your table or whatever surface you're working on, because you can clean that up later. So there we go, and then I'm just going to fold it in half once everything has been spread. There we go. And now what you want to do is you want to take something flat or like a pencil or something and just run it over here. Make sure you get everything. This is just to spread the glue out and get any air particles out. I usually do it with a popsicle stick because that works best, but I have misplaced it, so. Alright, so now that we have 3 of these single sheets, all I'm going to do is I'm going to spread glue on one side and then stack them up 3 times, just like the spreading I did before. And then we'll have one very thick sheet of hardened paper that we can later use to turn into the spinner. So as you can see, I have an extremely thick piece of hardened paper here, like I can barely bend it. That's how strong it is. Now what you want to do is you want to leave this under some textbooks to dry overnight. Make sure that it's like completely dried. Actually, you're going to cut out the templates first, like after letting it dry under some textbooks for a day, because it won't be completely dry after a day if it's under textbooks, just because there isn't much air getting to it. And then I'm going to move on and show you what we're going to be cutting out of this piece of paper. So let's move on to that now. Alright, so I finished the sketch. This is what it's going to look like. So basically what's going to happen is I'm going to create 3 of these, and it's just going to go equally around, bearing just like that. And you can see this little curve at the bottom here, and all I did to get that curve was just use the bearing so that I know that it fits perfectly on the bearing. So I'm gonna go ahead, each of these is gonna be about 6 of those layers thick, so I'm gonna cut out about 18 of these, and then we'll be ready to carve it out like I did for this arrowhead. As you can see, it has been carved into like a more arrowhead shape, very thick and extremely strong. So I'm gonna go ahead and start doing that. Alright, so what I did was I took a piece of hardened paper and I pasted this design onto it. I'm gonna cut it out, and then I'm gonna use what I cut out to basically draw them out. I use that as a, what do you call it, a template for the rest, and I'll just draw it on here so that I have the exact copy of each one. And again, I'm going to be cutting about 18 of these, so I'm going to get started. Alright, as you can see, I cut out the first triangle arrowhead thing, and what I did was I just used that to create all of these. I'm only going to cut out 9 for now, and then I'll see if I need more, but as of now I'm just going to cut all these out and then I'll see how it all works out. Alright, so as you can see, I've cut out 3 of them, but I've come to a realization. Basically, originally what I thought was going to happen was, I'm going to show you, I was thinking that it's going to turn out something like this, right? But what I realized is that if I actually cut off this little stub, it still won't actually interfere with each other, which is what I was hoping for. So I can just cut this part off. Let me show you quickly how I'm going to do it. Just that part off, there we go, and it's just gonna be a triangle like this, and I can just use the spinner like this. So that's perfect for what I wanted to do before. So I'm gonna go ahead and just create triangles instead of creating these stubs. So I'm gonna have 3 stacked up on each other for each side, so I'm gonna have 9 in total, which is much less than I thought would happen. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut all of them out and I'll be right back. So as you can see, I've cut out all 9 and I've grouped them into 3s. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take glue and I'm going to spread them across the face, and I'm going to glue all these together. So I'll show you what it's going to look like. So I'm just going to open my glue, take the first triangle, and just spread the glue all over it like that. And then you're going to take the first piece and just glue it on there. And then all you want to do from there is glue one more piece so that you have 3 groups of 3, and then let it dry, and we'll move on to carving and stuff like that. Right, as you can see, I have glued all of them together. They're still wet, and basically what I'm going to do is you want to either leave these outside or like clamp them, because when we're going to work with these and carve it out, you want it to be as dry as possible so that nothing moves out of place. So I'm going to go ahead and let these dry, and then we can move on to carving it into the blades that we need. Alright, so at this point you can choose whether or not you want to move on. Either you can just take your triangles and just glue them on like that and have a decently good spinner, or you can put bevels on these and make them look like arrowheads like this looks, which I'm going to be moving on. And to do this, you're going to want a razor blade, or you can use a regular knife like this, which is what I'll be using. It worked perfectly, and I'll move on to how you're going to do it. So basically how you're going to do it is, I'm going to take my knife, and basically you're going to go down the side underneath the edge of this, and you're just going to keep, it's going to take a while to do it, but you're going to just keep taking off material slowly off the sides like that. Again, this does work with the razor blade as well, but I choose to use the knife, it's easier. And as you can see, I've already gotten a little bit off of that. And you're going to do this on both sides, and then I'm going to put this in a time lapse and finish it all, and I'll be right back. so I got the first piece done. It's the cleanest job, but like it has a nice bevel to it. And it looks like one of the ancient arrowheads, which I really like the look to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this with these last two pieces, and I'll be right back. Alright, so as you can see, I created all three arrowheads, and they are very, like, as you can see, there's different parts, and the reason I did this is because I wanted to look like an ancient stone arrowhead, because those look the coolest to me, personally. But now all that's left to do is I'm going to use super glue to glue these onto the bearing, and then we'll have our spinner. So like I said before, this was optional. You can use Elmer's glue too, but it'll just take longer. So I'm going to go ahead and glue it on, and then I'll show you what it looks like. So as you can see, it's completely put together. The arrowheads look awesome on it. I love the way it looks. It looks like a Genji spinner in a way. But there was a slight problem, is because there was some glue got into the bearing. That's why it's not spinning well. It's like abruptly stopping. But other than that, it looks really cool. I love the way it turned out. If you want more spinner videos, because I know a lot of people have been requesting more and more, that's why I've been making them. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I will be back next time.